Hello and welcome to our podcast. I am Elizabeth.
And I'm Kassidy.
And today's December 5th, 2025, the day after the last full moon of the year. Mm-hmm. Very powerful. How was your full moon?
You know, it was very transformative in the way of communication and community. I had 3 people that attended, but outside of facilitating, I kind of let them share when they received their reading, and they ended up like cross-sharing, and a lot of it was information that I would have shared, but it was good for me to not, and to just observe other people. I also, this thing has been happening with me lately where I'll literally just see a flash of light, and it looks like the chakra is just white. And that happened with one of the women. And so every time it happens, I'm still trying to figure out, well, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. So it was in conjunction with the sentence of this weekend is going to be a very powerful weekend, and then flash of light. So I'm assuming that's, yes, confirmation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. However it is, it's different for everybody.
I also pray nightly with my significant other, and we went to Bryn's Mesa Trailhead to pray. And lately I've been feeling like antsy. Like every time we're praying, I have to be moving. And so when it was my turn to pray, he's like, well, why don't you ask the Lord for help? And so I started with that, and it was so interesting because I could feel it bubble up, and then I'd breathe through it, and it was almost like it settled back down. So I don't know if that energy is just getting caught, and when I'm breathing through it, then it's able to circulate. But by the end of it, he's like, as soon as you started praying, I felt the presence of the Lord. And I was like, wow. I started crying. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So, and speaking of prayer, and also speaking of time, because we're going to try and keep these shorter. The last one's been a little long. I have a new prayer that I would like to use instead of my prayer today. Mm. And you can see my prayer in any of the other videos. Do you remember it? Do you know?
Yeah, the one you just sent.
Yes.
About serenity.
Yes, I got it. Here it is. Okay. All right. And today is part 2 of our ancestral and generational trauma. Trauma? No, low frequency. Yes, low frequency. All right. So. Thank you for the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to heal the one I can, and the wisdom to know that one is me. Amen. Aho. So it is. Yeah, that's cool. When I read that, I was like, oh, wow, that hit something. Mm-hmm. For me, this full moon has been really powerful in communication. I've gotten some really clear messages. Mm-hmm. Via spirit, friends, family, texts, YouTube, whatever. Lots of synchronicities, really, really cool synchronicities happening. So, synchronicities, I call that a very high frequency. So some people are asking, well, how do you know? And what are some things? Synchronicities are things to look for. Some people call them coincidences. I like to call them synchronicities. When you get a lot of them, that lets you know you're in that flow state. And that's where we like people to be, where they're getting that constant, not validation per se, but it's a connection. It lets you know that you are connected.
It's confirmation or correction.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. All right. So getting back to ancestral trauma, and I'm going to be shuffling cards as we're talking, and then if I feel we need to show something, I will. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to talk about, go ahead, because how we want to.
Well, last time we were talking about being stuck in low density energy, sometimes called a different kind of D word, and how that can be related to ancestral low frequency energy that has been passed on. Usually there's some form of connection or pattern. And this had just come to me when we started talking about this, but I had my own that I had to break out of once I had discovered the family constellations. And it was recurring sexual trauma. So I found out that, known or unknown, one of my parents went through it, known or unknown, one of her parents went through it. And I don't think that they hold it consciously in their mind, but I also went through it. And so when I went to that session of family constellations, that's what came up for me to heal across all of these generations, so that moving forward, I'm not carrying it. I can be in a higher vibration and welcome love in a healthy space. But then any of my children or even my siblings' children also do not have to face it. We're in the time, space, and place in this current life where we are the generational curse breakers. It is our time to say, no, I won't accept this energy in my life or moving forward in my descendants' lives anymore.
Yes, and another way to explain that is in this ascension process, in this, call it creating a new earth, or just call it ascension, just call it as we evolve, as we grow. My story is, as we're ascending, you cannot hold on to the pain, shame, guilt, resentment, anger, worry, fear. It cannot exist there. So this work that we're doing to let go of it is allowing us to ascend, and then we're in a space where it can't exist for anyone. So, and that's that whole collective, and that's that one. It's like I have my part to do, but recognizing as part of the big one, the big collective. Beautiful. Awesome. So what other connections? How do you see other connections of this pattern, of this isn't yours, this is coming from your parents, grandparents?
Another one, and I find tension with this and would like to actively be able to correct it, but it takes more effort. It really does. Is out of sight, out of mind. That is a pattern that has been passed down, at least in my family. I don't know about, beyond, but I've seen it in the way, and this is not a judgment, this is just where when someone moves away from the family, you're out of sight. So there's not communication, there's not that connection, there's not the family dynamic involving. When you return, they love you, they accept you, they're happy to see you, but I've heard stories from my parent, and that was the way it was for them. And even living in the same town, like it's just not such a close dynamic. And so that's on me to break, to either reach back out and be the piece of connection, but moving forward again in my own family dynamic, once that happens for me, is being that piece of connection. And I see the opposite for you in your life. Like you're very connected with the people that you love, including friends, but including your family as well.
Not all of them, but most of them, yes.
The ones that you choose to be.
And I have a lot too, so yeah. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then they choose to with me as well. It's a two-way, right? Connection. Yeah, I definitely have let go of those relationships where I felt like I was doing all the reaching out, because then you have to recognize those as well. Like, okay, they're not, like, is this healthy for me to always be the one reaching out? Cool. Yeah. How about, go ahead.
That tends to, like, bleed into my relationships with friends as well. So that's something that I'm still actively trying to work through.
Yeah. What about, let's do a big one, the fear of lack.
Interesting. Okay. I can see that I used to have that in my life. And since my awakening, surrender, and connection with God, it's a lot. It's almost all dissipated.
Nice.
It tends to arise the first day of the month, because it's like a new financial month, and I have to continue to, it's in God's hands, whatever is meant to happen. But I also think that can come to, this might be a divergent faith. Like, faith is the one that can correct that pattern. That is, I feel like that's such a deep pattern, especially for our, like, grandparents or great-grandparents who could have potentially gone through the Depression or gone through times of, in this country, just not having a lot and having large families. So it's always that state of, you eat everything on your plate. Like, you're going to work, you're doing the hard work, you're earning the income, and it's all going to your family, so there isn't surplus. There isn't extra or room for more things in your life.
And do you see it in your clients often?
Yes.
Yeah. Because there isn't anybody who didn't have grandparents that weren't in the World War. Like, it was a world war. So we're all affected by it. even the wars right now that are taking place in other countries, whether we're involved or not, affect us. So, that fear of lack, I think, is a huge one, but it does go so much deeper. But yes, I like how you bring faith into it, because that's what it really comes down to. It's like, I always have what I need. Why am I worried? And it's like, well, because your grandparents and your mom, they were worried. So it's recognizing, and I said this to a client the other day about something different. I said, it came down from your parents just like your brown hair and your brown eyes, but you can get contact lenses and put blue ones in. Like, you can choose the awareness of, oh, I don't want to be like this. And if it's to that extreme where you want to change the color of your eyes, hey, you got the choice.
Right.
But no, with this, it's like, no, I don't want to have that fear of lack because I want to be in that place of abundance. How do I stay in the place of abundance? So again, that's what the whole shift is recognizing the patterns, behaviors that aren't even ours or aren't really real, right? Fake evidence appearing as reality. How do we recognize what is really real and what is something that just need to be shifted, corrected? What was the other word?
Either for synchronicity, it's either confirmation or correction.
Confirmation, yeah. But yeah, so for like, and how do we shift out of these energies when they come up for us? It's going always into gratitude and the faith. I like what you brought up is like knowing that there is a higher power that is watching over us, that there is a plan, a divine plan. What else? How are we on time?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? We're in 5 minutes, or we have 5 minutes left?
5 minutes left.
Okay. So I'm going to just pick a card. What's another one? Fear of lack, fear of dying alone. These are huge things that we haven't experienced. Like, why am I afraid of something like that? That's something that's been put into us, programmed into us. Watching our loved ones around us.
Ooh, judgment.
Transition.
Judgment. Like I can recognize the pattern of doing something because someone else is going to judge you if you don't do it. So then it's like you build this life for the people who are viewing your life rather than for your own happiness and fulfillment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which just comes back to kind of codependence and self-abandonment. Like, I'm going to do this thing because I should, or it's expected of me rather than I truly align and want to do it. What did you get?
Number?
11. That's a synchronicity for me. I've been seeing 111 and we started talking at 11:11. Like
yes, we did.
It popped up.
And I sent the email out today about 111, January 11th.
Yeah.
I did another reading today. And Spirit threw out a bunch of cards, but the cards that she chose, the first card she chose was an 11.
Yeah.
Different deck.
I was reading a book today. I looked down at the page number. It was 11 or 111. I'm like, there's just this number is.
This is part of the full moon. This is what the portal does. This is what this energy does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have another friend that said, I'm not into that lunar bullshit. And I was like, okay. So number 11, but Judas. And what does it say?
Catalyst and soul contracts.
Card 11 is a number associated with spiritual awakening, sometimes difficult. But for that to occur, we need souls or situations that are catalysts that lead us there. The partner who cheats, so we learn self-worth. The redundancy that leads to a new career. The absent parent who teaches us independence. The disloyal friend who reveals who our real friends are. The illness that teaches us to make the most of every day.
Wow.
So on and on it goes. This is from Amanda Ellis's deck, which I love, Christ Consciousness. But yes, this is our message for today. Yeah, like, how do you want to show up in the world? And understanding that, yes, we have these patterns, behaviors that are instilled in us, embedded in us. But are we willing to look at them and shift them?
And shift into a different perspective about them. Like,
yes.
I loved everything that you just read. Learn, like, you have an illness in your body in order to appreciate your life. Like, if you can find the other edge of that coin, even if it's ancestral, then you can shift into a different perspective.
Exactly. Beautiful.
All right.
All right, anyone, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. You know how, on the website.
And if you'd like to hear on a specific topic, reach out and let us know.
And if you want to join us on the podcast, reach out and let us know. We're always looking for people to come into the conversation to hear other perspectives and ideas.
Absolutely.
That's how we learn. So we are on the outs of the full moon. It's still powerful today, December 5th. It will be for another 48 hours. And, what was on the bottom of the deck? Number 50, 5 is all about change, sacred sexuality, healing and connection. Yeah, basically what we were talking about. Yeah, falling in love with ourselves. Like, what does that look like? And then who around you.
Yep. I heard balance as well, because sexuality absolutely can be intimate, but it's also that divine masculine and feminine that's within each of us that comes to a balance so that you can be healthily relating to your world.
Aligned.
Yeah.
Aligned and connected.
Beautiful.
Have a wonderful week, everyone.
God bless you.